This is your $1,200 stimulus check update, the latest stimulus package news, and how we could potentially even be missing out on a stimulus check. But as always, my videos pertain to everybody, including those of you receiving Social Security, retirement, disability and survivors, SSI, supplemental security income, VA beneficiaries, as well as low income and no income. But hey, everybody, today is Thursday, September 17th. My name is Matt. Welcome back to another Blind to Billionaire video. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please be sure to hit the subscribe button so you can be eligible for that $2,400 giveaway I have coming up soon. So congratulations and good luck to everybody. Let's get right into this and talk about it. So Nancy Pelosi was out the other day and said that Congress will not go on recess until they have a stimulus deal. So that's good stuff. Mark Meadows was out in an interview yesterday and said that he was more optimistic in the last 72 hours than he has been in the last 72 days. As we know, the Problem Solvers Caucus, this group of 50 people, 25 Republicans, 25 Democrats, it's a bipartisan group, they released their latest stimulus package proposal on Tuesday. I've been making a couple videos about that over the last couple days here, talking about it. Unfortunately, the Democratic leaders, aka Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, rejected it. So that's okay. That's okay. We know it's discouraging, but it's okay because basically they're just kind of flexing a little bit of their congressional muscle right now, showing like, hey, we don't support this quite yet, but really they're probably thinking, hey, this deal is actually pretty good. But that's okay because that just means that they need to negotiate a little bit more on this package before they can really push this through. Also, yesterday, President Trump tweeted that he's encouraging Republicans to go for the bigger package because it all comes back to the USA in the end. So he's encouraging the Republicans to go for a bigger stimulus package because he basically says it's all going to come back to the US anyway. So with Trump tweeting that, it makes it really hard for Republicans to negotiate because basically if the leader of the pack, of the Republican pack, President Trump, if he's tweeting this, it makes it really hard for Republicans to negotiate when the leader is basically saying, go bigger, go bigger. So anyway, it's interesting though. However, also, after President Trump made that tweet, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer were out and said that they were encouraged by the president's tweets. Also, Mark Meadows was out yesterday, and he said that he wants to see a stimulus deal within the next 7 to 10 days. So cool stuff. I mean, all of this is coming right into line with, kind of everything that we've been anticipating and right in line with that timeline that I laid out just a few days ago. Let's talk about the stimulus checks. In my intro, I said we could potentially be missing out on a stimulus check. Let me break this down and give you a little bit of perspective on where we could be missing out on a stimulus check. So, well, I don't know if anybody realizes this, but as of right now, we have 4 proposals on the table for stimulus. Let's hit on them really quickly. We have the HEROES Act, crafted by the Democrats back in May. We have the HEALS Act, crafted by the Republicans, released back in late July. We have the Skinny Bill, released last week by the Republicans. And now we have this new proposal released by the Problem Solvers Caucus. So I think we can probably cross off the HEALS Act and the Skinny Bill. I mean, they're not going anywhere, so we can probably just cross those off. The other 2 that remain on the table would be the HEROES Act, as proposed and crafted by the Democrats, as well as this new proposal from the Problem Solvers Caucus that I just talked about the other day, and then I'm referring to once again. So basically these 2. I'm going to compare them. However, the only element of these 2 packages that I'm going to compare is the stimulus check. Okay, so that's the only thing I'm going to talk about between the 2. Let's compare them and see where we could potentially miss out on a stimulus check. So let's talk about this. First, the HEROES Act. As we know, it contains a second round of $1,200 stimulus checks in the following amounts: $1,200 for adults. Also, dependents, up to 3 dependents get $1,200 apiece. Any dependents of any age, so that includes children and adult dependents. So with a family max of up to $6,000. This is the HEROES Act. Okay, so stimulus checks at a rate of $1,200 basically for everybody up to a family of 5, family max of $6,000. So that is the HEROES Act. Now, the new proposal, this proposal that was just released on Tuesday from the Problem Solvers Caucus, again, here is the stimulus check breakdown on this one. It includes a second round of $1,200 stimulus checks at a rate of $1,200 for adults, $500 for dependents, $500 for dependents, including dependents of all ages, including adult dependents. It also has language in there saying retroactive. Again, as I said yesterday, we don't know what they specifically mean about retroactive. We're not sure if they mean going back to the first stimulus package where adult dependents would get that $500, but let's just anticipate that's what they mean. So with this stimulus package, you could say, in theory, I'm just making a theoretical situation here, and situation where we can walk through this. Okay, so let's just say in theory, adult dependents get the $500 from the first stimulus package, the CARES Act. Okay, there's $500. From this proposal, another $500. That's $1,000. Well, you could be looking at that and saying, well, it's $1,000 there. We're short $200, based on compared to the HEROES Act, which is a stimulus check for dependents at a rate of $1,200. So you could say, well, even with the retroactive, we're still behind by $200. We're still off. Well, let's dig a little bit deeper. Like I talked about yesterday, this new proposal from the Problem Solvers Caucus, it includes a third stimulus check in March based on economic numbers, COVID numbers, and hospitalization rates. If all of those are not in line with what they want, there's a third stimulus check that would be deployed in March 2021. So, with that being said, let's calculate that into the figure now, okay? So we have the retroactive, $500. This proposal, $500. The future stimulus check, another $500. So, well, this is just for dependents now that I'm talking about. So technically, dependents could be at $1,500 total, whereas if we went with the HEROES Act, it would just be $1,200. So technically, if we went with the HEROES, we'd be behind $300. So now I said, when we miss out on another stimulus check, if they happen to go with the HEROES Act, which was proposed, like I said, by the Democrats, if they went with that, potentially we could be missing out on that March deployment of another stimulus check. So it's interesting. So it kind of goes both ways. If you look at it, from a dependent standpoint, well, dependents technically would get the $1,200 from HEROES with no retroactive, whereas with this new proposal, dependents could get up to $1,500. So I don't know, kind of a lot to think about there. So it's very tempting. Either way, it sounds like, either way, no matter what, whether they choose the new package or the HEROES Act, it sounds like there's going to be stimulus checks included. So no matter how they're doing this, of course, no promises because nothing's signed yet, but no matter how they're negotiating this out, it sounds like there will be another round of stimulus checks, at least one more round. There could be even a third round. So anyway, I hope that broke it down. I hope that helps clarify everything a little bit more with these stimulus packages and everything going on right now. It'll be very interesting to see what happens in the coming days. Being Thursday today, who knows if they'll get anything done this week, but next week will definitely be very interesting as far as negotiations, and we could see some voting next week. That could be pretty exciting if we finally get some voting going on. So I hope this update helps you. Of course, I'm watching everything. If anything else comes out, I'll be back later today with more updates. Thanks, everybody.